here is LCID Lucid Group. This finishes at $25 today. That is down 13.77%.
And it's gone.
Please like the video, please subscribe, and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. We didn't talk about SOFI on the show today, but in the aftermarket here, it is mooning, so some bonus content for you guys. So here's SOFI Technologies. This finishes at $11.20 today, and that is down 2.18%. But in the aftermarket, this is up to $13.24. So there's a reason as to why this stock is going up so much here in the aftermarket. The earnings did come out, so let's check it out. So EPS was negative 15 cents, which beat the estimate of negative 17 cents. Revenue was 280 million, which beat the estimate of 279 million. Beat on both the EPS and the revenue, but not by much. But overall, they were good earnings, so it seems like the market really likes it. Jumping in here and pumping the stock up after hours. Very nice. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So first of all, this does look like a cup and handle in the making. Bottom of the cup being the low of 882. And there could be multiple possible tops. It could be $13.35, which the stock is currently around right now. It could be $15, $16.55, $18.80, $20.50, $21.20, $22.60, or even as high as $24.70. Although I do think the most realistic top would be $13.35 or $15, but those are all bullish indicators that is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. We also have a gap down all the way back here at $22.75, so that's another bullish indicator that is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to $22.75 to fill this gap. Now, quite honestly, that might take a while, but the gaps usually do fill, so eventually this should come back up to $22.75. So this didn't happen yet, but if this current price of $13.24 holds through tomorrow, that's going to create a gap up today from $12. So I expect a gap up at $12, and that would be a bearish indicator that is telling us that the stock should come back down to $12 to fill that gap. And I do think that's going to happen in the short term. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description down below. So right now this is trading between the sideways channel, the rectangle of $11.35 and $11. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be $11.60, $11.75, $12, $12.20, $12.55, $12.80, $13.10, $13.35, $13.75, $14, $14.40, $14.60, $14.85, and then $15. There is resistance above $15, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 11, 1070, 1045, 1025, 10, 975, and then the low of 880. 880 is the all-time low, so no support below that. So right now at this current price, 1120, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty decently sized, so expect a normal amount of price action either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 1220 to the upside, the channels start to open up and get wider up until 1440. So from 1220 to 1440, expect a significant increase in price action. And to the downside, from $11.35 down to $11, expect a significant increase in price action. Then it goes back to normal below there. But then if/when this hits 975, there's another big channel down to 880. So from 975 down to 880, expect a significant increase in price action. RSI is currently at 45, so that is a little bit below average. So according to the RSI, this current price of $11.20 is around fair market value. Maybe it should be a little bit higher, although I'm sure the RSI will be higher tomorrow when the market opens. This does not factor in the post-market action. And this did 108 million in volume today. It's very significant volume, so this pump today was confirmed by the volume. Okay guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So I think long term, this is definitely a good buy. We have some strong bullish indicators in the cup and handle and the gap down. A lot of upside potential, but this gap up at 12 that is going to be created when the market opens really scares me. And that makes me believe that this will pull back down to $12 to fill the gap up before this starts running to the upside again. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, I would not do that, and I would not recommend that. I think if you were to go long here at 13.25, that would be FOMO. Honestly, 13.25 isn't a bad price if you're thinking long term. But like I said, I do think this will pull back down to $12 to fill the gap that will form. And that would be a much better entry than 13.25. So I would hold off going long right now. Be a little patient. This should pull back down to $12 in the short term. And I do think that would be an excellent entry. If it pulls back below $12, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. And again, long term, looks like a really strong buy. This should come back up to the 23 to 25 range in the long term. So that would be about a 100% upside from the current price. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, it's not exactly the most exciting play in the world, but there is money to be made here. Like I said, this should pull back to $12 to fill the gap up that's going to be formed. And from the current price of $13.25, that would be around a 15% downside. So not the most money in the world, but it seems like a relatively easy 15%. I would say going short here would be a low risk, medium reward play. Again, not the most exciting play. There are definitely better short plays out there in the market, but this should be a relatively easy 15% profit to the downside here. So I would support going short at $13.25 and higher, and I would say please just cover at around $12 when the gap fills. This would be a quick scalp on the short side, not really one you want to hold for that long. So get in, get your money, and get out. So pretty straightforward here, guys. Great earnings today, but I do think it will pull back in the short term to around $12 to fill the gap. But longer term, definitely looks like a good buy. SOFI is a really legit stock and has a lot of upside potential long term. So congratulations to everyone who made money in the stock today, and good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is SOFI Technologies. So here is LCID Lucid Group. This finishes at $25 today. That is down 13.77%.
And it's gone.
So there was a reason as to why the stock went down so much today. We did have earnings come out yesterday, and we did have some news. So let's check that out. So EPS was negative 30 cents, which was exactly on the estimate. Estimate was negative 30 cents, met the EPS, but revenue was 26.39 million, which missed the estimate of 59.87 million. So huge revenue miss there. So overall, pretty bad earnings. And in addition to that, we do have some news here. Lucid cuts 2022 production target by up to 40% due to extraordinary supply chain issues. So that is really not good for the outlook for the stock, the guidance. So bad earnings, bearish news, market didn't like it, and the stock sells off almost 14% today. Very nasty. So let's go ahead and analyze here. So first of all, this does look like a cup and handle in the making. Bottom of the cup being around 22, and there are multiple possible tops. Could be 34.10, 36.50, 42.65, 47.90, 51.75, or even as high as 56.25. So a huge cup and handle here. Although I do think the most realistic top would be 34.10. But those are all bullish indicators. That is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to one of those tops to complete the cup. Today there was a gap down at 26.15. So another bullish indicator there that is telling us that the stock should eventually come back up to 26.15 to fill this gap. And that should happen in the short term. And if you guys want to follow along, the link to the chart is in the description down below. So right now this is trading between the sideways channel, the rectangle of 25.30 and 24.75. So if this goes to the upside, next levels of resistance would be 25.30, 25.75, 26.30, 26.80, 27.50, 28.15, 28.75, 29.40, 29.95, 30.65, 31.45, 33.05, 34.10, 34.80, and then 35.45. There is resistance above 35.45, but we're not going to discuss that right now. And if this goes to the downside, next levels of support would be 24.75, 24.25, 23.80, 23.40, 22.95, 22.45, 21.95, 21.40, 20.90, 20.35, and then 19.65. There is support below 19.65, but we're not going to discuss that right now. So right now at this current price, 25, the channels to the upside and the downside are pretty narrow. Don't expect much price action either way this goes. However, if/when this breaks 29.95 to the upside, the channels start to open up and get pretty wide. So expect a significant increase in price action if/when this breaks 29.95 to the upside. And to the downside, if/when this breaks 17.15, the channel starts to open up and get pretty wide. So expect a significant increase in price action if / when this breaks 17.15. RSI is currently at 40, a little bit below average there. So according to the RSI, this current price of 25 should be a little bit higher. And this did 63 million in volume today. Very significant volume. So the sell-off today was confirmed by the volume. Okay, guys, just my opinion, not financial advice. So this does look bullish in the short and long terms to me. Again, bullish indicators in the cup and handle and gap down. And we also have a slightly bullish indicator in the RSI. Only bearish indicator is the aftermarket action, and that should be temporary. So this may pull back a little bit in the short term, but it really shouldn't go down too much because channels are pretty narrow. So not too much downside potential here. So way more bullish indicators than bearish indicators here. So I do think this is a pretty good buy in the short and long terms. So therefore, if you want to go long, not financial advice, I do think $25 is a pretty good entry. Like I said, this may pull back a little bit more, but it really shouldn't get too bad. Not too much downside potential. So I would support going long at $25 and lower. If it pulls back below 25, then you can just average down at the supports that I mentioned before. So this should come back up to 26.20 in the short term. It should go back above 50 in the longer term to complete this cup here. Over a 100% upside in the longer term. Now, if you want to go short, not financial advice, I would not do that and I would not recommend that. Like I said, not too many bearish indicators. Only bearish indicator is the aftermarket action. So this may pull back a little bit, but due to the narrow channels, there's not too much downside potential. So this can only pull back for so much longer. And there's really not too much money to be made here on the downside and a lot of upside potential. I would say going short here would be a high risk, low reward play. Doesn't really make too much sense. Already missed your chance. You should have went short a long time ago in the 40s and the 30s. Here at 25, it's just way too late and really doesn't make sense to go short here at this point. Don't think that's too smart. So I would not do that and I would not recommend that. So pretty straightforward here, guys. Looks like a pretty good buying opportunity in the short and long terms. And don't really see a reason why you'd go short here. So sorry to everyone who lost money in the stock today. But like I said, looks like a good buying opportunity. Not financial advice. And good luck to everyone currently in the stock and to everyone looking to take a position. This is LCID Lucid Group. Thanks everyone for watching today. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video. Please subscribe and catch me every weekday after market close on the Smarter Gambling Show. You apes already know. Diamond hands to the moon. I'm Ty. This is Smarter Gambling. See you guys tomorrow. Peace out.